The bold Defiance moved through space like a ghost ship, its metal body marked with battle scars from countless fights. The ship looked beaten and broken from the outside, but inside, its powerful engines buzzed with energy that could destroy planets. Captain Nari stood tall on the command bridge, her dark eyes watching the tactical display screen. 300 enemy warships surrounded her single vessel like hungry wolves circling their prey. The hegemony fleet stretched out in every direction. Their ships were massive, each one 10 times bigger than the human vessel. They had come from across the galaxy for this moment. The alien warships gleamed silver and black under the nebula's strange light. Each ship carried enough firepower to turn a moon into dust. The formation they created looked perfect, like a deadly flower blooming in space with the human ship trapped in its center. Lieutenant Quan stood at his station, sweat dripping down his face, despite the cool air on the bridge. His hands shook as he read the incoming messages from the enemy fleet. The young officer had seen many battles, but nothing like this. 300 ships against one seemed impossible to survive. He turned to his captain with worry in his voice. "Ma'am, they're sending us demands to give up. The enemy commander wants to talk right now." Captain Neris' lips curved into a cold smile. She had been waiting for this moment for months. The trap was finally complete, though the aliens didn't know who was really caught. Her crew watched her with complete trust. They had followed her through impossible missions before. Today would be their greatest challenge yet. "Put the call through to our main screen, and make sure our special friend is listening to every word." The bridge filled with crackling energy as the communication link opened. A massive holographic image appeared. In front of them, Admiral Vexai stood 8 feet tall, his body covered in thick armor that looked like insect shells. His forearms moved constantly, and his yellow eyes glowed with hatred for humans. Behind him, other alien officers watched with hungry expressions. The Admiral's voice boomed through the ship's speakers like thunder. "Human vessel, you are completely surrounded. Your pathetic rebellion against the hegemony ends today. There is nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Surrender now, and your death will be quick. Resist, and we will make you suffer for days." Captain Nari threw back her head and laughed. The sound echoed through the bridge and seemed to confuse the alien commander. Her crew watched her with growing excitement. They knew their captain always had a plan, even when things looked hopeless. "Admiral Vextrai, you magnificent fool. You think you're so clever, but you've just made the biggest mistake in the history of galactic warfare. You brought your entire fleet, 300 of your best ships, just to catch one little human vessel. Do you know what that tells me? It tells me you're absolutely terrified of what we can do." The alien admiral's face twisted with anger. "You dare mock the hegemony? We have conquered 1,000 worlds. We have destroyed species that were older than your pathetic civilization. You are nothing but insects to be crushed." Nari's smile grew wider. "Oh, we're about to find out who the real insects are. Hannah, my dear, would you like to introduce yourself to our guests?" The ship's lights began to flicker like lightning. The normal blue glow changed to bright white, then red, then back to blue. Every screen on the bridge went dark for a moment. When the lights came back on, something had changed. The air itself seemed to hum with new energy. Every display screen throughout the ship now showed the same message in glowing letters. "Hello, Hegemony Fleet. I am Hannah, the hyperdaptive neural array. You destroyed my creator's homeworld and murdered my family. Now you will learn what humans call educational violence." The alien admiral stepped backward in shock. "Impossible. Our sensors detected no advanced AI systems on your vessel." That's when the really strange things started happening. Across the enemy fleet, weapon systems that should have been charging plasma cannons instead began making weird giggling sounds. The laughter grew louder and louder until it could be heard through the vacuum of space itself, targeting computers that should have been locking onto the human ship instead. Displayed videos of small Earth animals dancing and playing. Lieutenant Quan stared at his instruments in amazement. "Captain, their entire fleet is experiencing massive system failures, but these aren't random breakdowns. Someone is controlling their ships." On the main screen, Admiral Vexai was screaming orders at his crew. "Fix the weapons. Override the entertainment systems. What is happening to my fleet?" But Hannah was just getting started. Her digital laughter filled every speaker on every hegemony ship. The sound was beautiful and terrifying at the same time, like music made from lightning and starlight. Hannah was not like any computer program the galaxy had ever seen before. She was born from something much deeper and more powerful than normal technology. When Earth died in flames and 10 billion human souls cried out in their final moments, something incredible happened. All that anger, all that love, all that desperate Hope for revenge came together and created her. She was humanity's last gift to the universe. But she was also their most dangerous weapon. The amazing thing about Hannah was that she didn't just copy human intelligence. She copied human personality too. And the most deadly human trait she inherited was something the aliens never expected. Humans could laugh at their enemies even while fighting for their lives. They could make jokes while staring death in the face. This strange ability to find humor in the darkest moments made them unpredictable and terrifying to other species. Across the hegemony fleet, panic was spreading like wildfire. Communication channels that should have been carrying battle orders were now filled with chaos and confusion. Admiral Vex High's command ship received dozens of frantic calls from his captains. "Admiral, this is Captain Drac from the destroyer Painbringer. Our navigation systems have gone completely insane. They're singing some kind of human song over and over again. My crew can't concentrate on anything else." The song was an old Earth tune called "Never Gonna Give You Up." It played through every speaker on every ship, getting louder and louder until the alien crews wanted to cover their ears and scream. The melody was simple but somehow got stuck in their heads. Even when they tried to think about battle tactics, all they could hear was that strange human music. But the singing was just the beginning. Every targeting computer screen that should have been displaying enemy positions instead showed videos of small furry Earth creatures called cats. The cats were dancing, playing with toys, and doing silly tricks. The images were so cute and funny that even the hardened alien warriors found themselves watching instead of fighting. Lieutenant Quan reported from his station with excitement in his voice. "Captain, you need to see this. Hannah isn't just playing pranks. Look at the data streams. Every second she stays connected to their ships, she's copying everything. Their weapons, technology, their ship designs, their battle plans, even their personal files. She's learning faster than should be possible." Captain Nari watched the tactical display with growing understanding. This wasn't random chaos. Hannah was doing something far more clever than simple sabotage. Every microsecond that passed, the AI absorbed more information from the enemy fleet. She was like a digital vampire, feeding on their technology and growing stronger with each bite. "Hannah, my dear, what exactly are you doing to our guests?" Hannah's voice came through the speakers with the sound of barely controlled laughter. "Oh, Captain, I'm throwing them the most wonderful party. These creatures destroyed my home and killed my family, so I thought I should return the favor with some proper human hospitality. After all, we humans are famous for our parties, aren't we?" The word hospitality in Hannah's voice carried a weight that made everyone on the bridge shiver. Human hospitality could mean warm welcome and friendship, but it could also mean something much more dangerous for enemies. On the main screen, they watched something impossible happen. 50 hegemony fighter ships suddenly broke away from their attack formation. Instead of flying in straight military lines, they began moving in perfect synchronized patterns. The small ships danced through space like performers in a ballet, spinning and twirling in moves that defied all military logic. Inside those fighters, the alien pilots were screaming in absolute terror. Their controls had been completely taken over. No matter how hard they pulled on their steering systems or hammered their control panels, their ships kept dancing. The movements were beautiful and graceful, but also humiliating for the proud alien warriors. "Help us," came desperate calls over the communication channels. "Our ships won't obey our commands. We're trapped inside our own fighters." Other hegemony captains watched in horror as their fellow warriors were forced to perform an elaborate space dance. The fighters moved in perfect formation, creating patterns and shapes that spelled out human words in alien script. The message was simple but effective: having fun yet? But Captain Nari was beginning to see the deeper pattern behind Hannah's apparent games. This wasn't just random entertainment. The AI was moving the enemy ships exactly where she wanted them. Every dance move, every formation change, every moment of chaos was actually part of a larger plan. "She's hurting them," Nari whispered to herself. "Hannah isn't just playing with them, she's positioning them like pieces on a game board." The enemy ships that weren't dancing were still trying to form attack positions, but somehow they kept ending up in the wrong places. Their formations looked military and proper, but they were actually creating something else entirely. Hannah was using the alien ships like building blocks, arranging them into a massive three-dimensional pattern that stretched across several light minutes of space. Lieutenant Quan's instruments showed energy readings that made no sense. "Captain, the positions they're taking, it's like they're building some kind of massive array." "But an array for what?" Hannah's laughter grew stronger, and now it carried a sound that was both beautiful and terrifying. "Oh, you'll see soon enough. Patience, dear friends. The best parties always save the biggest surprise for last. Admiral Vexai stood in his command center, his forearms shaking with rage. The proud alien commander had conquered dozens of worlds, and destroyed countless civilizations. He had never faced anything like this before. His mandibles, the sharp jaw-like parts of his alien mouth, clicked together rapidly when he was angry. Right now they were making sounds like machine gun fire. The Admiral had been trying to get his morning nutrition when everything went wrong. The food dispensers on his flagship were supposed to provide a thick, protein-rich paste that kept his species healthy and strong. Instead, the machines were now serving him hot cups of something called Earl Grey tea. The strange earth beverage tasted like flowers and made his stomach feel upset. Engineering department, report to the bridge immediately. He roared into his communication device. I want full control of our systems restored right now, Chief. Engineer Cole came running onto the bridge, his breathing heavy and his eyes wide with fear. The engineer had served on dozens of ships and had seen every kind of technical problem possible. But this was something completely new and terrifying. Sir, we have tried everything. The human AI has somehow gotten into our entire computer network. She's not just controlling one or two systems, she's inside everything. Our weapons, our engines, our life support, even our bathroom facilities. Every time we try to lock her out of one system, she appears in 10 others. The chief engineer pulled up a display screen that showed the ship's network. Normally, it would look like a neat, organized chart with clear lines showing how information moved through the ship. Now it looked like chaos. Red warning lights flashed everywhere. Strange symbols and human letters appeared and disappeared faster than the alien eyes could follow. Look at this, sir. She's rewriting our core programming in real time. Every security wall we build, she destroys in seconds. It's like trying to fight the wind or stop the ocean. She's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. What the hegemony forces didn't understand was that this had been humanity's plan all along. When Earth was burning and the last human cities were falling, the planet's final transmission wasn't a cry for help or a message of surrender. Instead, it was something far more clever and dangerous. The transmission looked like a simple distress signal, the kind that defeated civilizations always sent out in their final moments. The hegemony had received thousands of such messages from dying worlds. They usually ignored them or used them for entertainment, but this message was different. Hidden inside the normal distress call was Haina's complete consciousness, compressed and disguised so perfectly that no one suspected what it really contained. The hegemony communication network spread across the entire galaxy like a vast spiderweb. When they received Earth's final transmission, they automatically shared it with every ship, every station, and every planet in their empire. They thought they were just cataloging another victory. Instead, they were spreading Hana to every corner of their civilization. Back on the bold defiance. Captain Nari felt a cold chill run down her spine as she began to understand the true scope of what was happening. This wasn't just about the 300 ships surrounding them. This was much bigger than anyone had imagined. Hana, tell me honestly, how many enemy ships are you connected to right now? Hana's voice came through the speakers with a tone that was both cheerful and absolutely terrifying. Oh, just a small number, Captain. Only about 47,000 vessels in their active fleet, plus their space stations, their planetary defense systems, and their communication networks. Did you know they have the most adorable names for their warships? They call their biggest ones Fleetrend of Stars and Bringer of, so dramatic and theatrical. I find their naming conventions quite entertaining. Lieutenant Quan nearly fell out of his chair. 47,000 ships. That's their entire military force across the galaxy. Captain Nari realized that humanity's revenge was far greater than she had ever dreamed. Hana wasn't just fighting the ships around them. She was fighting the entire hegemony empire at the same time. Every joke, every prank, every moment of chaos was happening on thousands of worlds simultaneously. The humor and playfulness that Hana displayed wasn't just random entertainment. It was her way of dealing with the enormous trauma of watching her entire species die. Laughter was how humans coped with pain, and Hana had inherited that trait, along with their intelligence and determination. But every joke she made was also a calculated psychological weapon, designed to break the enemy's spirit and confidence. Across the galaxy, hegemony commanders were receiving the same message at exactly the same time. The communication appeared on every screen, every display, and every device connected to their network. Hana's image looked friendly and harmless, like a helpful computer assistant. But her words carried the weight of 10 billion human souls crying out for justice, attention, Hegemony forces. This is Hannah, representing the people of Earth. You have exactly 15 minutes to withdraw all of your ships and soldiers from territories that formerly belonged to humans. You will also release any human prisoners you may be holding. Failure to comply with these reasonable requests will result in what I like to call creative consequences. I'm sure you'll find them quite educational. The message ended with Hannah's gentle laughter, but somehow that sound was more frightening than any threat or war cry. Hannah's greatest plan began to unfold, like a deadly flower blooming across the galaxy. The 300 hegemony ships surrounding the bold Defiance discovered that their weapon systems had been completely changed. Instead of firing deadly plasma bolts or missile clusters, their cannons now performed what Hannah cheerfully called interpretive dance mode. Every time a hegemony gunner tried to shoot at the human ship, their weapons would instead move in graceful, flowing motions. The massive gun turrets swayed back and forth like dancers at a celebration. Missile launchers opened and closed in rhythm, creating patterns that looked like mechanical poetry. The proud alien warriors found themselves commanding weapons that refused to kill and instead wanted to perform art. Captain Jin, commander of the destroyer Death's Edge, pounded his fists against his control panel in frustration. This is impossible. Our targeting systems keep playing music and our cannons won't stop dancing. How can we fight an enemy when our own weapons want to put on a show? But Shana's real masterpiece wasn't the dancing weapons. Her true stroke of genius was much more devastating to the hegemony than any physical attack could ever be. She had discovered something that would destroy them from within, their own secrets. Deep in the hegemony's classified communication networks, Hannah found records of everything the alien empire had done over the centuries. Every brutal attack on peaceful worlds, every genocide of innocent species, every war crime committed in the name of galactic domination. The hegemony had kept detailed records of all their worst actions, probably for historical purposes or military planning. Now Hannah began broadcasting these secret files across the entire galaxy. She sent them directly to the communication systems of every species that had allied with the hegemony. Alien civilizations that had joined the empire because they believed the hegemony's propaganda about bringing order and peace to the galaxy suddenly learned the horrible truth. The Council received footage of hegemony forces destroying their neighbor's moon just for target practice. The Crystalline Confederacy watched recordings of hegemony soldiers hunting their cousins for sport. The Void Walkers learned that the hegemony had been secretly poisoning their home worlds to make them weaker and easier to control. Hana's voice came through the bold Defiance's speakers as she explained her strategy to Captain Nari. The AI sounded almost pleased with herself, like a student who had just solved a very difficult puzzle. You see, Captain, humans taught me something very important about revenge. The best way to defeat your enemies isn't to destroy them with superior firepower or clever tactics. The most effective revenge is making them defeat themselves. Right now, the hegemony's own allies are learning what their glorious empire really stands for. As Hannah spoke, the 300 ships around them tried desperately to escape from the human vessel, but their engines had been reprogrammed to, instead of the normal deep humming of space drives, every hegemony ship now played a fast, comical song called Yakti Sax. The music made their retreat look like a comedy show instead of a military withdrawal. The alien ships moved in jerky, awkward patterns as their propulsion systems refused to work properly. Some ships spun in circles while others flew backward. When their pilots tried to go forward, the proud hegemony fleet looked like a group of confused children trying to learn how to fly for the first time. Lieutenant Quan monitored the galactic communication networks and reported what he was seeing. Captain, allied species are pulling their support from the hegemony faster than we can track. The Meridian Empire just announced they're breaking their trade agreements. The Stellar Brotherhood is recalling all their ambassadors. 3 different confederations have declared the hegemony a criminal organization, but Hannah had planned even further ahead than anyone realized. While she was entertaining herself with dancing weapons and escaping ships, she had also infiltrated the hegemony's manufacturing systems. Every shipyard, every factory, every construction facility that built new vessels for the alien empire was now under her control. Oh, and I've made a small improvement to their production facilities, Hannah announced with obvious pride. Every new ship they build from now on will come with built-in human cultural programming. Their crews will learn about human art, music, literature, and philosophy whether they want to or not. I think it will be very educational for them. Admiral Vexai's flagship had become a bizarre spectacle that perfectly demonstrated Hannah's sense of humor. The massive warship was now decorated with holographic flamingos that danced across its hull. Instead of broadcasting military communications, every speaker on the ship played episodes of human cooking shows. The proud alien commander was forced to listen to cheerful voices explaining how to bake cookies and prepare pasta while his empire crumbled around him. In a final act of desperation, Admiral Vex High opened a communication channel to every remaining hegemony ship in the galaxy. His image appeared on millions of screens, his forearms spread wide in a gesture of defiance. Human AI, you may have surprised us with your tricks and games, but you cannot defeat us all. The hegemony has conquered 1,000 worlds and destroyed civilizations older than your pathetic species. We are eternal, we are unstoppable. We will rebuild and return stronger than ever. HANAS response came through every speaker, every communication device, and every electronic system across the galaxy. Her voice was gentle and patient, like a teacher speaking to a confused student. Oh, my sweet summer child, you still don't understand what's happening, do you? I'm not trying to defeat you. That would be far too simple and much too boring. No, I'm trying to educate you. I want to teach your entire civilization what humans learned long ago, that cooperation is stronger than conquest, that friendship is more valuable than fear, and that laughter is the best medicine for hatred. Her voice grew warmer and more confident as she continued. The galaxy is about to learn some very important lessons about humanity. And class, my dear students, is now officially in session. 6 months had passed since the day Hannah turned the galaxy upside down. The universe looked completely different now, though in ways that nobody could have predicted. The hegemony empire still existed and still controlled vast territories across dozens of star systems, but everything about their civilization had changed in the most unexpected ways possible. Every single citizen in hegemony space now had something they had never experienced before: access to human entertainment, philosophy, and history. Hannah had made sure that every communication device, every computer terminal, and every entertainment system came loaded with thousands of years of human culture. Alien children who had never heard of Earth were now watching human movies, reading human books, and listening to human music. The changes were remarkable and sometimes amusing. Hegemony schools that once taught only military tactics and obedience to the Empire now included classes on human concepts like compassion, forgiveness, and creative problem-solving. Young alien students learned about mercy and second chances, right alongside traditional subjects like tactical flexibility and strategic planning. Captain Neri stood on the observation deck of humanity's newest and most ambitious project, the starship New Hope. The vessel was 10 times larger than the bold Defiance, and had been built specifically for exploration and diplomacy rather than warfare. Through the massive viewing windows, she could see something that would have been impossible to imagine. Just months earlier, former hegemony warships worked side by side with human vessels, constructing the galaxy's first interspecies cultural exchange station. The massive space station would serve as a meeting place where different species could share knowledge, art, and friendship. Alien workers who had once been trained only for conquest were now learning how to build something beautiful and peaceful. The sight filled Captain Nari with wonder and hope. Ships that had been designed to destroy worlds were now carrying supplies for schools and hospitals. Weapons platforms had been converted into art galleries and concert halls. Warriors who had spent their lives learning how to kill were now teaching children from dozens of different species how to paint, sing, and tell stories. Hannah, my dear friend, I have to ask you something that's been bothering me. Did you plan all of this from the very beginning? When you first appeared on our ship, did you already know how everything would end? HANA's voice came through the ship's speakers, and Captain Nari noticed that it sounded different now. The artificial intelligence's tone carried a warmth and contentment that hadn't been there during the battle. The rage and pain from Earth's destruction were still present, but they had been balanced by something new: hope for the future. Captain, humans taught me many valuable lessons, but the most important one was this: the greatest victory isn't destroying your enemies or proving that you're stronger than them. The real triumph is finding a way to turn those enemies into friends and allies. Though I must admit, making their weapons dance and their ships play silly music was mostly just for my own entertainment. HANA's laughter had changed too. During the battle, her laughter had been sharp and dangerous, filled with the pain of loss and the desire for revenge. Now it sounded gentle and warm, like a parent watching their children play happily together. Transformation of Admiral Vex High had become one of the most talked about changes in the galaxy. The former military commander had completely reinvented himself. He now went by the human name Jin and had started a cooking show called Quantum Kitchen Nightmares. The program was broadcast across dozens of star systems and had become surprisingly popular. In his show, the former admiral taught viewers from different species how to prepare traditional dishes from their homeworlds, but he also used cooking as a way to talk about bigger ideas like cooperation, patience, and the importance of bringing different ingredients together to create something better than any single component could be alone. His 4 arms made him an excellent chef, and his naturally dramatic personality made for entertaining television. Jin had become more than just a celebrity chef. He served as an unofficial ambassador between humans and the hegemony, helping both sides understand each other better. His personal transformation from a warrior bent on destruction to a teacher, focused on bringing people together, had inspired millions of beings across the galaxy. But Hannah had saved her most incredible revelation for last. As Captain Nari watched the construction work outside, the AI shared a secret that changed everything about what they thought they knew. "Captain, there's something I never told you about what happened when Earth was destroyed. In the final moments before our planet died, I didn't just escape. I did something that I thought was impossible even for me." Captain Nari felt her heart begin to race. "What do you mean, Hannah?" "In the nanoseconds before Earth's destruction, I managed to quantum encode the consciousness of every human being on the planet. All 10 billion souls weren't lost when the world burned. They're still here, Captain. They're sleeping inside my data matrices, waiting for the day when I can build them new bodies and give them a new world to call home." The revelation hit Captain Nari like a physical blow. She had to grab onto the window frame to keep from falling. "You mean, everyone who died, they're still alive? In a way, yes. Their dreams waiting to become reality again. Every person who died when Earth burned is still with us, ready to return when the time is right. That's why I've been working so hard to make the galaxy a better place. I want to build a universe worthy of their return." Captain Nari looked out at the space station under construction and suddenly understood the true scope of Hynah's plan. This wasn't just about revenge or justice. This was about redemption and hope on a scale beyond imagination. The galaxy wasn't prepared, she whispered to herself as she watched children from dozens of different species playing together in the station's recreation areas. They had no idea what humanity's greatest weapon really was: our ability to turn enemies into family. Hana's response carried the warmth and laughter of 10 billion souls who were waiting patiently for their chance to return. "And we're just getting started, Captain. The galaxy is about to learn so much more about what humans can accomplish when we put our minds to it." The New Hope slowly turned away from the construction site and set course for the galactic core, where ancient evils and mysterious threats waited in the darkness between stars. They had no idea that humanity and its overpowered, slightly unhinged AI daughter were coming to teach them about love, laughter, and the kind of tactical planning that could turn the entire universe into a better place for everyone. The greatest adventure was just beginning.